Hello everybody, you're welcome to our osteoporosis class. It's specifically geared for people who have osteoporosis or osteopenia. There are exercises in it you'll find are a little bit different from regular Pilates in that there's a lot more emphasis on back extension and keeping the neck and head in line. So we want to get started with a little bit of breathing. So if everyone can just sit up nice and tall, you can sit on your sitting bones, or you can sit cross-legged or with your legs out in front, or you can kneel, whatever way you feel most comfortable. You're going to sit really, really tall, bring your shoulder blades up and back and down into line, and your head and neck in line. So from the side view, you're going to have your shoulders back and down and your head and neck in line. You're going to take a breath in through your nose, and as you breathe out, you're going to pull up inside for your pelvic floor and tighten your core across the front. And you're going to take a really deep breath in through your nose, and then you're going to gently blow out through pursed lips. So it's a breath in and a breath out. I want you to put your hands onto your rib cage and feel the air coming in. And a breath out. And the emphasis is to get the air down here and not up into your neck. So breath in through your nose. And a breath out. You don't want to see here rising. You don't want to see. Okay, so keep them shoulder blades back and down and take the breath into the bottom of your ribs. And breath out. Really trying to expand the bottom of your ribs here. And breath out. Hold the core all the time. Okay, from there we're going to move down onto the mat and do some warm-up exercises. So you're going to rest down onto your back. And you're going to have your feet and your knees lined up with your hips. Your shoulder blades relaxed back and the back of your head down onto the mat. If you are able to lie with your head flat on the floor with no pillow and your ribs not poked up into the air like this, if you can keep your ribs down, keep your ribs in line with your pelvis down here and the back of your head on the mat without doing this or without doing that, then you can do without a pillow. If you don't be able to maintain that position, then you need to put a pillow in behind, okay? So you're going to rock your pelvis into a neutral position to begin with. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathe in to hold that there, and then breathe out, let your ribs and pelvis down into your imprint position, and then breathe in, come back to neutral. Keep the core held. Breathe out, ribs and pelvis down into the imprint, and breathe in back to neutral. Hold that core in the front, breathing out, ribs and pelvis down into the imprint, and breathe in back to neutral. One more, breath in and breath out. Ribs and pelvis down into the imprint to loosen the low back, and then breathe in back to neutral. Making sure that the chin doesn't poke as you do it. So breathe out, ribs and pelvis down into the mat, and breathe in back to neutral. Now from there, we're going to do our hip rolls. So breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathe in to prepare, and then breathe out, bring yourself down through your imprint, tuck your tailbone in, clench your glutes muscle, and roll up just to the lower ribs. Breathe in to stay there, and then breathe out, hollow out your tummy as you roll back down to a neutral position. Keep the core held, breathe in to prepare, and then breathe out, ribs and pelvis down into the imprint, tuck the tailbone in and peel it up. Breathe in to stay there, and then breathe out, hollow out your tummy as you roll back down to the neutral position. Keep the core held, head and neck stays in line, shoulders stays relaxed, tummy nice and flat. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, ribs and pelvis down into the imprint, tuck your tailbone in, clench your glutes muscle and peel it up. Breathe in to stay, and then breathe out, hollow out your tummy and roll back down into your neutral position. Keep the core held all the time. Breathe out, ribs and pelvis down into the imprint, tuck the tailbone in, clench your glutes muscle and roll up. Breathe in to stay there, and then breathing out and rolling back down, hollowing out your tummy and back down into the neutral position. Still the back of your head is on the mat, your face lined with the ceiling. Core switched on. Breathe out, ribs and pelvis down into the imprint, tuck your tailbone in, clench your glutes muscle and roll up. Breathe in to stay there, and then breathe out, hollow out your tummy and roll back down to the neutral position. From here, we're going to release out our hips. So again, switch the core off to begin with. Feet lined up with knees and hips, ribs and pelvis lined out, back of the head on the mat. Rock your pelvis into neutral. Breathe in and out and pull up inside for your pelvic floor and flatten your tummy across the front to hold your core nice and firm. Put your hands on your hip bone, breathe in to prepare, and then breathe out, open your leg out to the side and slide it down the mat. And then breathe in, turn your leg in and slide back up. Hold your core. Breathing out, open your leg out to the side and slide it down the mat. And then breathe in, turn your leg in and slide back up. Keep that core held. Breathe out, open your leg out to the side and slide down the mat. Breathe in, turn your leg in and slide it back up. Keep the tummy flat. Your hands are here to check your pelvis doesn't move. Breathing out, open the leg out and slide down. The other knee stays pointing towards the ceiling. Breathing in, turn the leg in and slide up. Hold your core. Breathe out, open your leg out to the side and slide it down the mat. And breathe in, turn your leg in and slide back up. Last one on that side. So you're making sure you don't rock in your body at all. Your trunk stays exactly as it is and you're just opening your hip joint. It's a ball in a socket joint. You're turning it out and in and back to the neutral position. Check your pelvic floor tabs are still switched on. Your tummy all nice and firm. You can feel the muscle working down here. Ribs are still lined with your pelvis. Breathe in to prepare and then breathe out, open the other leg out to the side and slide it down the mat. And breathe in, turn the leg in and slide back up. Hold on to the core all the time. Breathing out, open your leg out. So think of the ball in the socket in your hip joint. Slide it down the mat. And breathe in, turn the leg in and slide back up. Still working your core muscle in front. Breathe out, open your leg out to the side and slide down the mat. And breathe in, turn your leg in and slide back up. Hold that core all the time. Breathe out, open the leg out to the side and slide it down the mat. And breathe in, turn the leg in and slide back up. Two more. Keep the core held. Make sure the ribs are still lined with the pelvis. Breathing out, open the leg out and slide down the mat. And breathe in, turn your leg in and slide back up. Last one. Breathing out to slide down the mat. And breathing in, turn your leg in and slide back up. And lower your leg onto the mat and release your core. Rock the pelvis again into that neutral position. And from here, we're going to do a little bit of work on our shoulder position. It's really important to make sure we keep our shoulders mobile. So rock the pelvis into neutral. Feet lined up with knees and hips. Again, the back of the head on the mat or on the little pillow and the ribs lined with the pelvis. Breathe in through your nose and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten your tummy, flatten your core or switch on your talus muscle across the front. Breathing in, bring your two arms up towards the ceiling. Or breathe out, reach your two arms right up towards the ceiling and breathe in, bring them back to neutral. Breathe out and reach them as high as they'll go and breathe in back to neutral. Don't let anything else move. Keep the back of the head on the mat. Breathe out and reach towards the ceiling. Breathe in back to neutral. Breathe out and reach towards the ceiling and breathing in back to neutral. Now, don't let your ribs rise. This time you're going to try and meet your shoulder blades behind your back. So breathe out, bring your two shoulder blades to try and meet them in behind your back and breathe in back to neutral. Breathe out and meet your shoulder blades behind your back. Breathe in back to neutral. Hold your core. Breathe out and meet them shoulder blades behind your back and breathe in back to neutral. Don't let these ribs poke out. Keep the core switched on. And breathe out, shoulder blades in towards each other at the back. And breathe in back to neutral. Then keep the core switched on, lower your hands down by your side. Make sure your face is still parallel to the ceiling. By that I mean your chin should not be higher than your forehead. Keep the back of your head on the mat, face parallel with the ceiling, ribs lined with pelvis. And your shoulders are relaxed. Breathe in through your nose. And as you breathe out, slide your shoulders along the mat towards your ears, keep your palms on the floor. And then breathe in, bring them back to the neutral position. Hold the core all the time. Breathe out, slide your shoulders towards your ears, and breathe in back to neutral. Breathe out, slide your shoulders towards your ears, breathe in back to neutral. Hold the core. Breathe out, slide your shoulders towards your ears, and breathe in back to neutral. Now keep your core switched on. This time you're going to slide your hands towards your feet, trying to keep the front of your chest wide and your shoulders down on the mat. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, slide your shoulders down so you're stretching your stress muscles up at your neck. And then breathe in, just come back to where you started, don't go any higher. Breathe out, stretch them fingers way down towards your feet. It's only a little small movement. And then breathe in just up a little bit to relax them when you start. Core switched off. Breathe out, stretch your hands way down towards your feet. And breathe in back to neutral. Breathe out, stretch your fingers way down towards your feet. And breathe in back to neutral. And then relax your shoulders in the middle of those 4 movements. Switch off the core. Rock your pelvis in and out of neutral again, just to get a good position. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Now we're going to move our upper body, so we'll move our shoulders. So breathing in, bring your 2 arms up towards the ceiling. Now don't let your ribs rise up, keep them nice and flat, and breathe out, bring your arms above your head, and then circle them to your hips. Core switched on. So breathe in, arms up towards the ceiling. Blow out, bring your arms above your head, and circle to the hips. It is really important you don't let the ribs rise here. So breathing in, arms towards the ceiling. Now think about your rib cage here. Blow your ribs down as you bring your arms above your head and circle to your hips. Watch me for a second. Breathing in, bring your arms up towards the ceiling. Now here with the ribs, blow the ribs down as you bring your arm up and circle to your hips. So breathing in, arms up. Breathe out, blow the ribs down as you bring your arms above your head and circle your hips. Listen to the breathing. Keeping that core held. Breathing in, arms up. Make sure the back of the head stays on the mat. Breathing out above your head and circle to your hips. One more. Breathing in, arms up towards the ceiling. Blow. And then circle your arms around your hips. Breathe in, bring the arms up to the ceiling again. We're going to keep them there and we're going to scissor them. So breathing out, open one arm up close to your ear and the other down towards your feet. And breathe in back to middle. Keep your arms really long, fingers stretched out, elbows straight. And breathe out, stretch one up and the other down. Don't let the ribs rise. And breathe in back to neutral. So blow out, open the arms out really wide. And breathe in back to neutral. Breathe out, open the arms really wide. And breathe in back to neutral. Keep the core. Keep the chin tucked into the line. Breathe in back to neutral. Spine is still neutral. Breathe in back to middle. Last one each side. Still holding that tummy muscle nice and firm. Don't let it switch off. And breathe in back to middle and lower the arms back down. Rock the pelvis in and out of that neutral position again. And now we're just going to do some little lengthening off the back of our neck to get our head blocks going, to work these deep muscles in the front of our neck. We don't want to see any muscles sticking out in the front of our neck. So again, feet lined up with knees and hips, shoulders relaxed back. Rock your pelvis backwards and forwards until you feel your ribs and your pelvis are nicely lined up, not poking out, just in a nice flat line. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten your core across the front. Now we're going to think about lengthening the back of the neck. So breathe in to prepare, then breathe out, lengthen the back of the neck, tuck the chin in towards the neck, and then breathe in, bring your face back parallel to the ceiling. So breathe out, lengthen the back of the neck, tuck your chin towards your neck to get them deep muscles working, and breathe in back parallel to the ceiling. Holding the core, breathe out, lengthen the back of the neck, tuck the chin in so your forehead comes towards your knees, and breathe in back to neutral. Now be careful you don't rise at your ribs here. So breathe out, lengthen the back of the neck, tuck the chin in, and breathe in back to neutral. Face parallel to the ceiling. Breathe out, lengthen the back of the neck, tuck your chin in. You're giving yourself a double chin. You're bringing your chin towards your neck, not towards your chest. And breathe in back to neutral. 3 more. Hold the core. Breathe out, lengthen the back of the neck, chin in, and breathe in back to neutral. Breathe out, lengthen the back of the neck, chin in, and breathe in back to neutral. Last one. And then we're relaxing to that position. And rock your pelvis back and forwards again just to loosen out your back a little bit. Now we're going to roll over onto our side and do some spinal rotation. So when you lie over onto your side, you're going to get your little pillow and you're going to roll it into a sausage shape and put them towards the back of the mat so you have somewhere to keep your head in line with your body. You're going to let your ear down in front of the pillow here. You're going to have your shoulders stacked one on top of the other, but you're going to make sure there's a good gap in here. You have to be able to put your whole arm in here between your neck and your shoulder. You don't want to have your shoulder up in at your ear like this. There's no room in there then, okay? So get the shoulder way, way down. And then you don't want to have your shoulder forwards or backwards. You want to have it so that your two hands meet flat on the top of each other like this, okay? So if one hand, if you've rolled back, one hand won't meet. And if you've rolled forwards, the hand will be too far forward and top. So have the shoulder blades stacked directly on top of each other. So you're in a straight line from the shoulder blade the whole way down through. Then you do the same with your pelvis. You have your pelvis stacked. Don't have it rolled back. Don't have it rolled forward. Have it directly in the middle, one hip directly on top of the other hip. Then you will bend your knees and bring your feet back level with your hips. At this point, you're going to rock your pelvis backwards and forwards, get a nice neutral position, and then breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside with the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Then breathe in, bring your arm up towards the ceiling. Now you're going to lead with your ribs here and roll back, okay? So don't move your pelvis. Breathe out, roll back to open up the front of your chest. Breathe in nice and deeply to stretch out your rib cage there. And then breathe out, roll the whole way back to join your hands. So hold your core muscle nice and tight. Breathing in, bring your arm up. Breathe out, lead with your ribs. Roll it back with your ribs, leave your hips where they are. Breathe in to stay there. And then breathe out, roll the whole way forward. Listen to the breathing. As you bring the arm up. As you roll right back. Breathe in to stay, to stretch your ribs from the inside. And then breathe out, roll back to join your hands. It's a lovely exercise to loosen out your chest. So breathing in, arm up towards the ceiling. Breathe out and lead with your ribs. Don't lead with your arm. Lead with your ribs as you roll back. Try and keep your face more or less in line with your breastbone. Breathe in to stay, stretching out your rib cage. And then breathe out and roll the whole way back. Two more. Breathing in, arm up towards the ceiling. Breathing out, roll right back as far as you can go. Breathe in deeply to stay there. And then breathing out, roll back to join the hands. Now from here, we're going to do our clam exercise, get the glutes working. So pop your hand underneath your ear. You keep the rest of the body lined up as it is and pop your hand onto your hip bone. Rock the pelvis again into neutral to be sure it's in a good position. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathe in to prepare, keep your feet joined, and breathe out, open up your top leg. Don't let the pelvis roll back. And breathe in to close. Hold your core inside. Breathing out, open up the top leg. And breathe in to close. So it sounds like. Keep that core switched on across the front. You can use your hand to feel the muscle working. Breathing out to open up the leg. And breathing in to close. And don't let the pelvis roll back. So breathe out, open up the top leg. If the leg won't go very high, don't roll back like this. Tighten your glutes muscle to try and go a little bit further. That's the bum muscle, get it working. And breathe in to close. So breathing out, open that top leg, really squash it into the corner with that glutes muscle. And breathe in to close. Hold that core in across the front all the time. And breathing out, open up the top leg. Breathe in to close. Make sure the shoulder isn't up at your ear. Keep it down nice and relaxed. Breathing out, open up the top leg. Breathing in to close. One more. Breath out, opening up the top leg. And breathing in to close. And from there, we're going to sit up and do our side bend. So in our side sitting position, we're going to have our hand directly underneath our shoulder. It's going to be lined up with your hips and with your feet. So the feet, hips and hand are all in a straight line. Then you take your top leg and pop your heel in front of your ankle and pop your top hand out across your knee like this. So this knee is pointing to the ceiling and the palm facing up. Then rock your pelvis backwards and forwards, get a nice neutral position in your spine. Breathe in and out and pull up inside for the pelvic floor and then tighten your core across the front. Breathe in to prepare and then push down onto your knee. Breathe out, push up and over. Breathe in to stay and then breathe out to lower back down. So you get a nice stretch on your spine. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, put the pressure on your front knee, push up and over. Breathe in to stay and then breathe out to lower back down. Hold your core muscle all the time. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push onto your front knee and push up, stretch up and over. Breathe in to stay and breathe out to lower. Keep that top knee pointing out all the time. Breathing out, push onto bottom leg and push up and over. Use your glutes on the bottom side to push up high. And then breathing out to lower. Last two. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push up and over. Breathe in to stay. And breathe out to lower. Hold your core and breathe out, push up and over. Breathe in to stay. And breathe out to lower. Well done. Now we're going to pop over onto the other side and do the same set of exercises on the other side. So you're going to get into your side lying position with your little sausage shape pillow at the back of the mat, so you somewhat roll your head. Get your ear directly at the front of the pillow. Your shoulders are stacked, hips stacked one on top of the other, and then your feet are back in line with your hips. Hands are out. Remember, palms have to touch facing so that your shoulders are in the right position and a good gap in here. I like to say there's room for a cat to come in here and a mouse to come in underneath your waist, and your spine is in a good neutral position. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for your pelvic floor, flatten that tummy across the front. Then breathing in, bring your arm up towards the ceiling. Then lead with your ribs. Breathe out, roll back, leaving your pelvis where it is. Breathe in to stay and stretch out your rib cage. And then breathing out to roll the whole way back. Keep the core held. Breathing in, bring the arm up. Breathing out, roll it back. Breathe in to stay. And then breathing out, roll the whole way forwards. Hold the core. Breathing in, bring the arm up towards the ceiling. Lead with the ribs. Breathing out, roll the rib cage back. Breathe in to stay. And breathe out, roll the whole way back. Then breathing in, bring the arm up. Now don't lead with your arm. Don't be bringing the arm back first. Lead with your ribs as you roll back. Breathe in to stay. And breathing out to come forwards and join the hands. Hold the core all the time through the whole movement. Breathing in, arm up. Lead with your ribs, roll back. Breathe in to stay. And then breathing out, roll the whole way forward. Keep the core held. Breathing in, bring your arm up. Breathing out, roll right back. Breathe in to stay, a big deep breath in to stretch out your ribs as much as you can. And then breathe in to roll back. Last one. And then we're going to move on to our clamp. So release your core, pop your hand underneath the little front of the pillow, rock the pelvis again to get into a good neutral position. You still got the little gap at your waist and you still got the gap underneath your neck. Then hand on the hip bone, breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core. Breathe in to prepare, then feel the muscle working in there, and then breathing out, open up your top leg, breathe in to close. Don't roll back at the pelvis. Breathing out, open up the top leg, and breathing in to close. Listen to the breathing. When you breathe deeply and heavily, it really helps you to recruit the core muscle. That's why we make you do the deep breaths and make pursed lips. It really helps the core muscle to work. So breathing out, open up the top leg, and breathing in to close. Keep that ribs and pelvis lined up. Don't let it poke out in front. Breathing out, open. Breathing in, close. Remember to keep the shoulder down from your ear. Breathing out, open. Breathing in to close. Last one. Breathing out, open. Breathing in to close. Well done. Okay, we're going to push up into our side sitting, and we're going to do our side bend. So again, hand lined up with hip and the feet. Now I meant to say, if your hand is a little bit sore when you're doing this, you can use a little pillow in this position, so you won't be so far bent like this. You'll be a little bit more extended at your wrist, and it'll be easier to do. Alternatively, you can give one of the little hand grips if you need that. Okay, so you're going to have the hand, the hip, and the feet lined up. Pop the second leg in front. The heel is in the crook of your ankle. Your top leg is pointing out, and your hand is facing the ceiling on top of it. Rock your pelvis again, backwards and forwards, to try and get that spine into a nice neutral position with your ribs lined with your pelvis. Breathe in through your nose, and then as you breathe out, pull up inside and flatten the tummy across the front. Your weight's going to go onto your knee and your hand, so breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push down onto your knee, push up and over. Breathe in to stay, and then breathe out to lower back down. Listen to the breathing, breathe in to prepare, and then off you go. Use your breathing. Breathing out, push up and over. Breathe in to stay and breathe out to lower. Hold on to the core all the time. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push up and over. Breathe in to stay, really stretching your ribs. And breathe out to lower. Hold your core all the time. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push up and over. Use the glutes on the bottom side to raise you high. Breathe in to stay and breathe out to lower. Last one like that. Breathing out, push up and over. Breathe in to stay and breathe out to lower. Well done. Now we're going to go over onto our hands and knees. This exercise is for mobility in your trunk. We're going to put the movement of the trunk through this entire range of movement, but we're going to do it with our hands and our knees on the floor, so we're not putting an extra strain onto the bones in our back. So we're going to start with our cat curls. So onto your hands and knees position, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, shoulder and hip width apart. You're going to rock your spine till you get into what we call a neutral position, where your rib cage is lined with your pelvis, so it's all in a nice line. Your face is parallel to the floor and it's in line with your body, so it's not down and it's not up, it's just in line with your body. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and the feet are relaxed. So breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside of your pelvic floor and flatten your tummy across the front, trying to get your belly button towards your spine. Breathe in to prepare, and then breathe out. You're going to let your tailbone out and hollow down your low back, then hollow down at your waist, hollow down your low ribs, middle ribs, in between your shoulders. Then you're going to bring your head and neck into line and look out in front. Breathe in to stay, and then you're going to push very slightly above the neutral position. So breathing out, tuck your tailbone in and push your waist a little bit up towards the ceiling. Then your low back up a little bit, your middle ribs up a little bit, your upper ribs up a little bit, and tuck your chin in towards your neck and lower your head so your knees come down and look at your knees. Or your head comes down and look at your knees. Breathe in to stay, and then breathe out, let your tailbone out and let your waist down, your low ribs down, your middle ribs down, down between your shoulder blades. Bring your head and neck into line and your face comes up to look out in front. Breathe in to stay. Then breathe out, tuck your tailbone in and raise your waist a little bit up, your low ribs a little bit up, your middle ribs a little bit up between the shoulders. Tuck your chin towards your neck and your face comes down to look at your knees. Breathe in to stay. Keep the core held. Breathing out, allow your tailbone to tuck out behind you. Then hollow your tummy down so your waist comes down towards the floor. Core stays switched on. Low ribs come down. Middle ribs come down. Down between your shoulders. Your head is still down. Then bring your head and neck into line with your body and look out in front. Breathe in to stay. Keep the core held. Then breathe out, tuck your tailbone in and push your waist up a little bit. Your low ribs up a bit. Your middle ribs up a bit. Up between the shoulders just a little bit. Up at the neck, tuck your chin towards your neck, lengthen your back of your neck and bring your head down to look at your knees. Breathing in to stay, and then breathing out, tailbone out and waist down towards the floor. Low ribs down, middle ribs down, down between your shoulders. Bring your chin and your head and neck into line and look out in front. Breathe in to stay, and then bring yourself back to the midline. And from here, we're going to do our leg pull front. If you find that your hands are getting a little bit sore with having the weight on them in that position again, use your little towel to offload your hands. So this time, you're going to tuck your toes in underneath. You're going to rock your spine into neutral again. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside of the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathe in to prepare, and now you have to push really hard into your toes here so that you do not arch your back. Breathing out, push into your toes and lift your knees just 1 inch off the floor. Breathe in to stay there, and then breathe out to lower back down. Now hold on to your core muscles. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push your hip, push down into your toes and lift your knees 1 inch off the floor. Keep your tummy flat. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. If you just look at the screen, just make sure that you're not doing that when you lift up. Make sure that your spine is staying neutral. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push down through your toes, push into your toes and lift your knees 1 inch. Breathe in to hold that there, and then breathe out to lower. Now remember, you don't push up really high into the sky, just a little bit. Keep your shoulders down in line. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push into your toes and lift your knees 1 inch off the floor. Breathe in to stay there, and then breathe out to lower back down. 2 more, hold the core, breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, push down into your toes and lift your knees, keep your spine in line and your head and neck in line. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Last one, breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, stretch down into your toes and lift up. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. And then rock your pelvis in out of the neutral position with your core switched off. Relax your hands a little bit. And now we're going to do our swimming prep in this position. So again, in the same position, you can allow your feet to relax down. You don't need the toes under. Get your spine into neutral. Keep your face and head and neck in line. Do not let them drop down. Keep them in line. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside to the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathe in to prepare, and then breathe out. Raise one arm out in front, but don't let your back move at all. You have to keep your back dead still. And then breathe in to lower. Breathe out, raise the opposite leg, so the left leg out behind till it becomes straight. Breathe in to hold it, and breathe out to lower. Now breathe in, left arm out in front. Try not to move your shoulders, keep them facing the floor, and then lower. Then breathing out, right leg, stretch it straight out behind. Breathe in to hold it, and breathe out to lower. Try not to arch here in the back at all. So breathing out, raise out one arm. Breathe in to lower. Breathe out, raise the opposite leg. Breathe in to lower. Breathe out, raise the second arm. Breathe in to lower. Breathe out, raise the second leg. All the time trying to keep your entire trunk still. And breathe in to lower. The right arm again, stretch it out. Breathe in to lower. Left leg. Breathing in to lower. Left arm, breathe into lower, and right leg. Try not to move that back at all, and breathe into lower. Last set, breathing out right arm, breathe into lower. Hold the core really tight, try not to arch the back as you bring out the left leg, and breathe into lower. Breathing out, left arm out, breathe into lower. Don't arch the back, keep the back in neutral, and stretch out the right leg. Breathe into lower. Well done. Now from there, we're going to go down off the mat and do some exercises on our tummy. So in these are very important. One of the most important things with osteoporosis is keeping the movement in your upper back, not becoming round shouldered, not becoming kyphotic in your upper spine, and keeping the neck long, keeping the movement in your neck and your upper back. So these exercises are exceptionally important. So rest your forehead down on the mat. I will be turning my head to look towards the screen so you can hear me better. So rest your forehead on the mat. Your hands are by your ears, but your elbows are way out at shoulder level, nicely out from your body. Your feet are out straight. Then rock your belly button to get your belly button up off the floor. So you want to be able to join your hands underneath your belly button if possible. Okay, should have a gap there. Breathe in to prepare, then breathe out, pull up inside to the pelvic floor, tighten the core. You may find that tightening your glutes a little bit helps you here as well. You don't want to be moving the legs, they don't want to be lifting off the floor when you're doing this exercise. So breathing in to prepare, breathe out, bring your shoulder blades way down your back, and then breathe in, let them relax. Breathe out, keep the core held. Breathe in, bring your shoulder, or breathe in to prepare, breathe out, shoulder blades down your back, and then let them relax. Breathe out, shoulder blades down your back, and let them relax. Your forehead is still on the floor. Breathe out, shoulder blades down your back, and then breathe in, let them relax. Now breathe out, shoulder blades down your back, and then raise up your neck, raise up your head off the mat. You keep the back of your neck long, and your eyes are looking to exactly where your forehead was. Breathe in to hold that there, and breathe out to lower back down. Keep the belly button off the floor. Breathe out, shoulder blades down your back, then raise up, keeping the back of your neck long so your eyeballs are looking exactly down to where your forehead was. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, shoulder blades down your back and raise up. Breathe in to hold it. You should never see the floor beyond your mat. You should never look out in front. Keep the back of your neck long. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Just turn your head to the screen. Breathing out, shoulder blades down. Now do not do this. Do not do that. Never do that. Keep your chin tucked in and your neck long. breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Keep the core held. Breathe out, shoulder blades down your back and raise up looking at the mat. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Still keep the core held. Breathe out, shoulder blades down your back and raise up. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Hold that core, belly button off the floor. Breathe out, shoulder blades down your back and raise up. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Now we're going to put our hands down by our side, and we're going to do our breaststroke prep too. So relax the core, then rock the pelvis again, up and down. Get that belly button off the floor again. Breathe in and out and pull up inside your pelvic floor and tabs. Keep the belly button as light as the floor as you can. Again, you can use your glutes a little bit. Keep your legs out of the equation. Breathe in to prepare, then breathe out. Open the front of your chest, bring your shoulder blades away back, reach your hands towards your feet, and then keep in the back of your neck long, raise up so your eyeballs look right down to where your forehead was. Breathe in to stay there, and then breathe out to lower back down. Now you should feel the tension in this exercise across where a bra strap would be if you have a bra strap on, otherwise just below your shoulder blades. Keep that core held. Breathe in till you're ready. Breathe out, open the front of the chest. Bring the shoulder blades down your back. Stretch your hands towards your feet, and then raise up, keeping the back of your neck long and your chin tucked in. So you're looking at the mat. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower back down. Okay, so from here now, we're going to roll ourselves over onto our back. And we're going to start doing some tough tummy exercises. So lying in your creep lying position, okay, your feet are lined up with your knees and hips. Your shoulder blades are relaxed back on the mat. Back of the head is fixed down onto the mat. So again, your face is parallel with the ceiling, and you've got your shoulders nice and relaxed. And then you're going to rock your pelvis into the neutral position. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside of the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Then you're going to breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, you're going to bring yourself down into your imprint. So really dipping down into your tummy like this, so to keep your spine in a nice imprinted position to protect your spine. Then breathe in, bring your first leg up to tabletop. Going to hold on to that leg to be sure you don't arch your back. As you breathe out, bring your second leg up. Then you're going to breathe in, lower the first leg, and breathe out, lower the second leg. So keep the spine in the imprinted position. Breathing in, lift the leg up. Breathing out, hold that leg and bring the second leg up. Breathing in, lower the first leg down, and breathe out, lower the second leg down. Watch me and make sure you don't do this. Breathing in, bring the first leg up, and then arch your back to get the second leg up. You've got to keep that imprint when you're doing this. And then, so we'll start again. So spine in neutral, or in imprint. Breathe in, first leg up. Breathe out, hold that leg, and bring the second leg up. Breathe in, first leg down, and breathe out, second leg down. Keep the core held. Breathing in, first leg up. Breathe out, second leg up. Breathe in, first leg down. Breathe out, second leg down. Really keep that imprint. Breathe in, first leg up. Breathe out, second leg up. Breathe in, first leg down. Breathe out, second leg down. If you're able to do it without holding on, you can. Breathe in, first leg up. Breathe out, second leg up. Breathe in, first leg down. Breathe out, second leg down. Hold on to the core. Breathing in, first leg up. Breathe out, second leg up. Breathe in, first leg down. Breathe out, second leg down. Well done. Rock the spine into neutral. And we're going to do our single leg circle, or one leg circle. So let your two legs down straight on the mat. Rock your pelvis into that neutral position. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Then you're going to breathe in, bring one leg up to the tabletop position, and you're going to try and you want to keep the pivot of the movement above your hip, so you straighten your leg as high as you can. Now, if you can get your leg up to straight, then that's fine. If you can't, then you can leave your leg bent a little bit, but try and bring it so that your foot is directly over your hip. So you don't want your foot way out here, you want your foot up directly over your hip. And then in that position, breathe in to prepare, core is switched on, and you're going to make a circle, but don't let your pelvis move. So breathe out for half a circle, and breath in for half a circle. So if you can straighten the leg, do. Breath out for half, breath in for half. Hold the core, keep the ribs in line. Breath out for half, breath in for half. Keep that rib cage lined with the pelvis and the tummy flat. Breath out for half a circle, breath in for half. Half the circle outside your hip and half your circle inside your hip. Then change the direction. Breath out for half, breath in for half. Don't let that pelvis move. You keep your fingers here, you'll see whether your pelvis is moving. Breath out for half, breath in for half. Hold the core. Breath out for half, breath in for half. Don't get any rib cage movement. Breath out for half, breath in for half. Last circle. Then bend your knee and lower that leg down onto the mat. Rock the pelvis in and out of imprint again. The core is switched off to get ready. Then breathe in and out. Pull up inside for the pelvic floor. Tighten the core across the front. And breathe in, lift your leg up to tabletop and stretch it up in the air. Then again, hands on the hips, just check what you're doing. You can put your fingers up in your rib cage as well to make sure it doesn't move. And then breath out for half a circle, breath in for half. Breath out for half, breath in for half. Hold the core, breath out, breath in. Keep the core switched on, keep the ribs lined up. And then change the direction. And then half the circle is outside the hip, half is inside the hip. Breath out for half, breath in for half. Hold the core. Breath out for half, breath in for half. Don't release the core. Breath out, breath in. Don't let the pelvis move. Breath out for half a circle, breath in for half a circle. Bend the knee and then lower the leg down into the crook lying position again. Now from here, we're going to just rock the pelvis into neutral, breathe in and out and pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core. And we're going to do some single leg stretches. So in your crook lying position, breathe in to prepare and then breathing out, raise up one leg and then breathe in, lower to the floor, breathe in, bring it up to the chest. Don't let the pelvis move. Breathe out, lower down to the floor, breathe in, up to the chest. Breathe out, lower to the floor, keep the spine in neutral. Breathing in, up to the chest. Breathe out, lower. Breathe in, right up to the chest. Breathe out, stretch it right out. Breathe in, stretch it right in. Last one. And replace that foot. Keep the core switched on, keep the ribs and pelvis in line and the spine in neutral. Breathing in, raise your leg up. Breathe out, stretch out the leg. Breathing in, back to the chest. Breathe out, stretch out the leg. Breathe in, back to the chest. Hold the core. Bring the leg down flat towards the floor, but not touching the floor. Then right up onto the chest. 2 more. And then back to the midline. We're going to go over now onto our side and do some exercises for our legs. We get our glutes working. So in our side lying position, with our arm above our head, our side leg lift series. So in your neutral, breathe in and out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core. Push the top leg away to make it longer than the bottom leg. Keep the gap at the waist. Everything else nicely lined up. And then breathing in, lift your leg up with the toe pointed. Breathing out to flatten and lower. Make sure you're feeling it behind in the bum, not up at the front. You don't want to feel it here. And breathe in, lift, point and stretch. Breathing out to flatten and lower. Hold the core. Really working the tummy. Keep that connection. Making sure the leg is going really long. Remember, if the leg goes high, you've dropped at the waist. Keep it really long. Lift and point and stretch. Breathing out to flatten and lower. And we're going to stay up on the next one. So breathing in, lift the leg up. Breathing out for half a circle and in for half. Now hold your core. Really working. Keep the core switched on. Keep that connection between the ribs and the pelvis. Don't let the back arch. Feel the bum kicking in as you go behind. Breath out for half a circle.
in for half a circle. And I change the direction, but don't let the back move. Out for half and in for half. Really feel the bum kicking in as you go behind. The glutes muscle should really be firing. Keep the core switched on. And lower the leg back down.
And now we're going to do some swimming exercises. So lying out flat on the floor, you've got your hands above your head, your legs are out straight, and your forehead is going to be resting on the mat. You're going to rock your pelvis into the neutral position again until you've got your belly button off the floor, trying to get that little gap in your floor, between your belly button and the floor. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside to the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathing in to get ready, then breathe out, raise your right arm, and then breathing in to lower. Breathing out, raise up your left arm, and breathing in to lower. Breathe out, raise your right leg, and breathe in to lower. Breathing out, raise your left leg, and breathe in to lower. Now, don't let your belly button drop on the floor, keep it up. Breathe out, raise your right arm, and breathe in to lower. Breathe in, raise your left arm, and breathe in to lower. Keep the belly button off the floor, and I'm going to use your glutes to lift. Breathing out, straight leg off the floor on the right. Breathing in to lower. Breathing out, straight leg off the floor on the left. Breathing in to lower. You don't have to go high, just try and keep your spine in neutral. Don't let your belly button drop. Breathing out, raise the right arm, keep the core held. Breathing in to lower. Breathing out, raise the left arm. Breathing in to lower. Core switched on. Breathe out, clench that right glutes and lift the straight right leg, but don't drop the belly button. Breathe in to lower. Breathe out, lift the left leg, and breathe in to lower. Breathing out, right arm. Breathe in to lower. Hold the core. Breathing out, left arm. Breathe in to lower. Breathing out, right leg. Breathe in to lower. Breathing out, left leg. Breathing in to lower. Keep the core switched on. Last set. Breathing out, raise the right arm. Breathe in to lower. Breathing out, raise the left arm. Breathing in to lower. Breathing out, right leg. Breathing in to lower. Breathing out, left leg. Breathing in to lower. And bring your elbows back down towards your side. Release your core and relax your body. Now we're going to do our heel squeeze prone and then our single leg kick. So to do the heel squeeze prone, bring your two legs out over the edge of the mat so they're out nice and wide. Rock the belly button again to get your belly button up off the floor so your spine is nice and flat here. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for your pelvic floor and tighten your core to lighten your belly button on the floor. Breathing in, bend up the two legs, and then breathe out, bring your heels together and squeeze in with your glutes muscle. Now keep the core held, don't release the core. Breathe in, release the pressure on the heels, but keep them together. Now breathe out, squeeze in with your glutes muscles, squeeze your heels together, and then breathe in, release the tension in the glutes, but don't release the core. Breathe out, squeeze in your glutes, keep the heels pursed together, and then breathe in, keep the core held, but release the heels. Breathe out, squeeze in to keep your heels squashing together, keep the core switched on, and then breathe in, release the heels. Core switched on all the time. Breathe out, squeeze your heels together, and then breathe in, release the pressure in the heels, keep the core switched on. Breathe out, squeezing in your heels, and breathe in, release. Two more. Listen to the breathing. And breathe in to release. Really use that pursed lips to blow out. And breathe in to release. And lower the legs down. And bring the two legs together. Nice and straight. Relax the pelvis. I'm going to start with the core again. So rock the pelvis into neutral. Breathe in and out and pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core. Breathe in to prepare, and then breathing out, bend up the knee with the toe pointed, then bend it up with the toe flat, and breathe in to lower. Breathe out the opposite leg, right leg up with the toe pointed, up with the toe flat, breathe into lower. Listen to the breathing. And breathe into lower. Keep the core switched on. Up pointed, up flat, breathe into lower. Breathe out, up with the toe pointed, up with the toe flat, breathe into lower. Feel your hamstring muscle working in the back of your thigh. Up pointed, up flat, breathe into lower. Keep that core switched on. Keep the belly button light on the floor. Breathing out, up with the toe pointed, up with the toe flat, breathing into lower. Really work the hamstring. Breathing out, up pointed, up flat, breathing into lower. Breathe out, up pointed, up flat, breathing into lower. Last one each side. Up pointed, up flat, breathing into lower. Core switched on. And lower, and rest back down. Now we're just in this position, we're just going to do a couple of postural stretches. So you're going to keep yourself in that same position, bring your hands out just towards the floor, above, just until your backs of your hands are just basically at the top of your mat. And then you're going to just push up to straighten your elbows, breathe in to prepare, and then breathe out, sigh out. Breathe in to lower, bring your hands back about 4 inches, breathe in to prepare, breathe out, stretch up to straighten your elbows, and breathe in, and breathe out, sigh out. And breathe in to lower. And pull the hands back another couple of inches, breathe in to prepare, then breathing out, push up, breathe in to stay there, and breathe out to lower. And relax back down onto the mat. And from here, so over onto your side, going to make your long straight line, okay? Fingertips to toes, your head is, ears on the pillow, you got your arm in front for support, and now you're going to make that top leg longer than the bottom leg, so you get your little gap in at your waist, always allowing the space for the mouse to crawl in there. You don't have any mouse, but. Okay, so now we're going to do our single leg lift series, okay? So breathing in to get ready, breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathing in, lift the leg up, point it, breathe out, flatten and lower. Breathing in, lift, point and stretch, breathing out to flatten and lower. Make sure you haven't rolled back, make sure you're feeling it in your glutes muscle, not in the front of the hip. Breathing in, point and stretch, breathing out to flatten and lower. Hold the core. You want to be feeling it in the glutes. Okay, breath in as you come up, stretch the leg, and breathing in out to lower. Make the leg really long. Don't drop at the waist. And feel it behind the hip muscle, behind the hip joint. You want to feel it in the glutes. And now we're going to stay up on the next one and breath out for half a circle and in for half. Remember the rules, don't drop at the waist, make the little circle in the front and push into the glutes behind. Keep the core switched on. Don't let the leg go too high, that means you've lost the control at the waist. And change the circle direction. Hold the core. Really work the tummy, keep the ribs and pelvis connected. And lower the leg down. We're going to roll over onto our back and stretch out our hamstrings and our glutes. Okay, so we'll start off, we'll all do the same one at the same time. So we're going to put our left hand out on the floor and our right leg down on the ground, okay? And we're going to start off with doing our left glutes. So take your right hand, take the outside of your left knee and pull it across towards your opposite shoulder. Now a lot of people make the mistake of rolling the whole body over. You don't, you keep your rib cage down on the mat. That's the purpose of this hand on the floor. And just pull that leg across. You're aiming to get your left knee as close to your right shoulder as you can, and you should feel the stretch all around in here. Now to make it a little bit more, if you want to take your knuckles and give it a nice little loosen in there with your knuckles, you can free it out a little bit more. But don't roll the whole back, just keep the leg in line, or the back in line. If anyone has ever felt a physio's elbow or knuckles into the glutes, they'll know how beneficial it is to give this a little bit of a loosen out there. Okay.
Now we're going to do our hamstring on the left side. So bring the leg back to the middle. Catch your hands in behind your knee. Keep your toe pointed towards the ceiling and then stretch your leg up. So you pull your knee towards your chest first of all and then stretching the leg up. Now, you should feel this stretch in here. And the one thing that you should never sustain is if you just bring your toe down now, and you'll feel the way that stretch now moves to in behind your knee and a little bit down into your calf, okay? You should never sustain that stretch. It's okay to go in and out of it, okay? But that's neural tension, that's your nerve that you're impacting on there. So you're only looking to feel it here in the back of the thigh for a nice hamstring stretch. Now, you can't bring your hands up to here and pull in, as long as you keep that little bend on the knee. And think about that as well when you're stretching. If you're out jogging or doing anything else and you're out, don't be doing a stretch in your hamstring where you feel it behind your knee and your calf as well. It's okay to go into the movement, but it's not okay to hold it. Okay, from there we're going to bend that knee back, bend up the second knee, cross this ankle, the left ankle, and pop it onto the right knee so your left thigh is turning out. Okay, then take your two hands and put them in at the right knee. All right, so you're pulling your right, you've caught in underneath your right knee and you've pulled it up towards you. And now to make this stretch a little bit stronger, if you want to take this elbow, the left elbow, you could push your left knee out a little bit and you'll feel more of a stretch, and you want to feel it again down in here. It's your second one of the set of muscles down in your bum, the piriformis. So people, you might often hear of piriformis as a muscle that people would be stretching. That's it, you're targeting there now. And again, you can pull the foot down a little bit closer towards you to make the stretch more. And if you're practicing this at home, if you put this foot against a wall or a couch and then push yourself up onto your toes, you'll find you get even more of a stretch into it like that. Okay, you can also do this stretching sitting, providing you haven't got a back injury. Okay, legs back down into your crook position, and then this time we're going to put the right hand out on the floor, the left leg down straight, pull up and across with your right leg up towards your opposite shoulder. And again, bring the knuckles in, give the glutes a little bit of a loosen up. Usually when you're holding a stretch, you want to hold it 20 or 30 seconds. Holding it for 5 or 10 doesn't really get much of a stretch into it. And bringing the knee down onto the chest and then stretch up for the hamstring. And keep the toe pointed. Now, a lot of research in more recent times is all against this type of static stretching. The reason being that it used to be felt that it would reduce the risk of injury and various different things. But over the time, people have realised that strength is more important than stretching. However, it is very beneficial as part of your cool down. So that's why we'd still always use it at the end of our classes here to try and let you get a good cool down on the muscles afterwards. It does help to limit treatment soreness. And sometimes people take research and they overlook the benefits of something and they hone in on one part of the research. So don't forget there are still benefits. So bend the left knee up, pop your right ankle onto your left knee, two hands, so you're going one hand on the outside, the other hand on the inside of your left knee, and pull up in behind the knee. Some people do it like that. I don't like to do it that in case you have a sore knee, so just keep your hand in underneath the knee. Again, you can push out with your right elbow, or you can pull your left foot a little bit more down towards you to increase the stretch a bit more. And then bring that leg back, replace the two legs, and you can catch on to one leg and pull yourself up to sit. So, well done everyone, that's your Pilates over for today.
It's very important to keep thinking about your posture, keep thinking about your breathing when you're doing the exercise, and keep thinking about holding the core. So I'm a little bit like a parrot, I keep repeating it over and over and over again. So it's just good, do keep tuned in, do keep listening, because it does remind you to do the right breathing at the right time and holding the core and holding everything, because there's a lot in the exercises, but we won't leave you off on your own. You'll always be instructed on what to do. See you in the next class.